Before I get started, I'd like to kindly ask that you hit the like button and please subscribe to the channel for more content just like this.
All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
The failures of video game to movie adaptations have been well documented over the past few years. And there's been a lot of theories put forward as to why that is exactly, but to me the answer is very simple. When it comes right down to it, the adaptations rarely ever capture what made the game so popular to begin with. The latest Mortal Kombat movie felt like it had a very small scale and it didn't even have a fucking tournament. And also basically failed to recreate the unique visual style of the game. Everyone praises the Sonic movies, but frankly I was underwhelmed by the first one. When I think of Sonic the Hedgehog, I don't think of a CGI character running around in our world and hanging out with Cyclops.
You're a dick.
Okay.
I want to see Sonic in the Green Hill Zone, and for more than a end credit sequence at the end of the first movie. And then we have Uncharted, which failed to capture the scope of the games, and thus felt like a straight-to-DVD ripoff that just so happened to have notable actors in it. It also doesn't help when your charismatic lead role is severely miscast.
It's Hollywood, baby. Who knows what's gonna happen?
So that brings me to the next big adaptation, that being HBO's The Last of Us series. Like Uncharted, The Last of Us would seem to lend itself to an adaptation because it's already a very cinematic game. Again, this would seem like a layup and pretty hard to fuck up. But if we're being honest with ourselves, this franchise already fucked itself with The Last of Us Part 2 in the game world. That game being mostly underwhelming to its core audience.
That's right, it stinks!
But I digress because this show would appear to be a direct adaptation of at least the first game, which is a game that had a better story than 90% of the movies coming out of Hollywood, by the way. And that brings me to Pedro Pascal, the actor who will be playing Joel in the series, who spoke to GQ magazine recently about the direction of the upcoming show. Before I get into those comments, I do have to mention that I am not 100% sold on him in the role.
No shit.
This feels a lot like the Tom Holland Uncharted situation, where they just take one of the it guys of the moment and shoehorn him into the project, all in an effort to make the normies just pay a little bit more attention to the series, I guess. Pro tip, don't make content for normies, it never turns out well. Just make a good story and people will show up. Trust me.
That makes sense.
Anyway, Pascal mentions in the interview how he didn't get a chance to play the game much. In fact, he just played a few minutes of it, he said, and then he handed the controller over to his nephew, and then he watched him play for a bit. And here's the thing, I don't necessarily take issue with him not playing the game. Some people just aren't gamers, and I understand that. And I don't think it's a prerequisite for you to be a gamer to play a role that's based on a video game. That's just ridiculous to me. However, I do think it's important that you at least understand the character you are playing and the world that you will be entering. But really it's up to the people creating the show to relay that information to you as an actor.
I'm a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude.
Preferably in the most digestible way possible. Now, did they do that? We'll have to wait and see. He did say of Joel in the game, quote, "I found Joel so impressive. I found the whole of it such a visually impressive experience. And then I got worried that I would want to imitate too much, which I think could be right in some circumstances, and then make mistakes in others. So I just wanted to create a healthy distance, and for that to be more in the hands of the co-writer Craig Mazin and the game and show writer Neil Druckmann."
Then why the fuck didn't you say so?
So I would actually agree that with any adaptation, there is a fine line between honoring the source material and also putting your own spin on things. Finding a balance between those two things is a difficult thing to achieve, and I think that's why a lot of these properties fail as movies. But it is possible, and I think it's the best route to take if you are going to make a successful video game movie.
Put some effort into it!
And to be clear, I don't want a shot-for-shot remake of the game. That would be boring. But I do need you to be faithful to the essence of the game. And like Pedro Pascal says, that's up to the showrunners to do that. Do I have a ton of faith in them to accomplish that? No, not really. Especially Neil Druckmann, who obviously faced some criticism after The Last of Us Part 2. And let's just say he didn't really handle that criticism all that well and basically turned it around and blamed the fans. You know, typical shit. It's not a good look and it's not a good way to inspire confidence either. Let me guess. The man baby is upset because now a woman is the lead of The Last of Us 2. Well, get used to it, incel, because now women rule the world. And I'm definitely not just saying that so hopefully one day one of them will sleep with me. I'm saying it because the patriarchy in video games has lasted long enough. Newsflash, there are female gamers out there who want to be represented, even if it is by a woman with bulging muscles and a strong jawline. And if you can't get on board with that, then you might be toxic, and you might be the next one to get cancelled. Yes, queen! And then we come to the comment about creating a healthy distance between the series and the game. You better tread lightly because a healthy distance can become a huge gap if you let things get out of hand.
You about to cross some fucking lines.
Guys,
Listen, I'm all for artistic freedom, but when you are playing in an established sandbox, there are certain things that you need to be mindful of. And the biggest thing is to not stray too far from what got you to the dance in the first place. Because that's exactly what almost every video game adaptation has done up until this point, and we see how that turned out. My advice would be to not overthink it, don't alienate your core audience, and like the first game, just tell a good story. I would venture to say that there are a lot of non-gamers out there who would enjoy the story of The Last of Us. They just don't play video games, so they will never have a chance to experience it. Well, this is your chance to allow them to experience it, so don't fuck up. I understand in certain instances some things just do not translate to another medium, like certain things that have to do with gameplay aspects, for instance. But the most important things, the tone, the atmosphere, the world, the very human story that's involved, I would like to think that all that translates and is fairly universal. So don't be a fool and try to reinvent the wheel, because it's just not going to work. This game is a fucking classic for a reason, and it's time to show a larger audience why exactly. And if you don't plan on doing that, then once again, I would advise you to not make this series at all.
Oh, I got a live one here.
So let me know what you thought about all this in the comments down below. As always, please like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell for notifications, and I'll see you next time right here on Real Shift. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Y'all be cool. Right on.